People don't. So that'll be good. Well, anyway, happy anniversary, I guess.
Yes, sir.
28 years.
No, man, I've only been for 25.
25.
Married.
25 years.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's saying something, man. A lot of people don't stay together that long.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's good for you and bad for her. I can only imagine.
Hey, when you keep in that same thing after 20 years, you just wear them down. You wear them down and then they stop. They don't even want to leave.
No, they want to leave.
And if she's
handcuffing
listening, I will distract that part.
I just want you to say something incriminating so you can say I didn't say it, and you can have it on there. But you know what? It's kind of unique that you're kind of talking about that. Going over. I mean, you get any effects from the COVID thing, or what are they telling you about traveling?
Day to day. Check the site every day. We may or may not be able to go. We may or may not have to do a test 72 hours. We have to do a test 72 hours before.
You have to show your vaccination card too?
Not yet. That surprised me. But
Wow.
we will have to, if everything pans out, for sure test negative, or you have to stay 48 hours in the hotel room and test negative.
Well, that kind of takes 2 days out of your trip.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that.
And then you think about, I know when the COVID thing was like first coming up, my wife and I had a trip scheduled. We were going to Mexico, I think, or Jamaica. I don't know where we were going. But good friends of ours, she's a doctor here in town. She says, you should really wait. Because we were just going to book everything, get everything paid, just be ready to go. And she really encouraged us to wait. And come to find out, I mean, that's exactly what happened. And the big deal was, had we flown over and gotten sick, trying to come back, we would have had to stay in Mexico until we cleared. So you can about imagine trying to get cleared in
I'm
Mexico.
excited about that right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that would make me not go.
You have to be cleared to the embassy to come back. U.S. Embassy.
Yeah,
is what it says. So
I mean, you really want to get stuck in Cancun, bro?
No, but we'll be all right.
Well, you're old, so the old people are coming back. Trust me, there's no need
They're not
to
gonna
keep.
keep-
Yeah, but them youngins. I mean, I don't know. They may not.
You guys couldn't live without us here anyway, so it'd be fine.
No,
you need us to come back.
No, we need Nikki. We can deal without him. We'll figure not having you out. No, I'm just joking.
Here's what's scary
We
is honestly, and I even have been talking about this a lot with people, as the new variant is coming out, it's changing everything again. Period. Trips. I mean, basic things. Connor getting married this week. We're talking to him every day to make sure the venue's staying open.
You know what, man? I'm just, I remember way back. I'm gonna give me one of them big old space suits with the big head on it, and shooting the oxygen in there. I mean, that's about where we're gonna be. And it's a crazy thing because now I go out. As we talk about it, let's just be honest. How about that?
Yeah, let's be honest.
We should probably start with saying that. The guy over there, the guy behind the camera, like, say this.
Man, he wants to I don't even look. I don't even look.
So we, it's kind of weird because it's football season.
I love it.
And you guys know I'm a crazy football guy. So you got Friday night football, which my son plays, and we get to the football game, and it's shoulder to shoulder. It's elbow to elbow.
Crazy.
I don't see many masks. I see a couple.
Just a face mask.
Yeah, I mean, other than those masks. I mean off the field, not on the field. You don't see many masks, so it makes you think a little bit. But then, of course, you're outside.
Right.
And then the next day, my wife and I, we're going into Sam's Club, and it's like everybody's got a mask on. So it's a little confusing as to what's right and what's wrong.
Very much so.
I just do whatever my wife says to do. If she says put your mask on, I'm like, all right. I think I look better with my mask on anyway.
I saw a guy driving a convertible the other day, top down, mask on. That one but
that was bugs. That was a bug.
Yeah.
He was worried about flies.
He didn't have a
and
windshield on it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of neat that we're back. It's been what, almost 2 years, year and a half since we've had football.
Yeah.
So now we're back in the football. So it's exciting. I got a sophomore. A sophomore playing varsity, which is really good. It's exciting. To watch these guys.
Absolutely.
I remember when Trenton was young when we first started football. So it's kind of like to watch it kind of progress into where he is right now at the high school level. Is pretty exciting as a dad. I know I was talking to Danny earlier. He was talking about Sophie. Being at and it's the coolest thing. Hopefully I get to experience this, but you can see him, just light up in his face. He was talking about how
excited.
Well, he's like, man, to watch ESPN and hear your kid's name on ESPN.
Yeah.
You can just see how proud he was, and I was just reminding him, man. I remember Sophie when she was like little. I mean, think about it. I've been
Right.
here 17 years. So,
Right.
most of her life, we kind of watch her grow up and, all the work that she's put in, her and then, and then think about it. I mean, the sacrifices that the family has to put in to get the player there.
I
But,
think it makes it a little more special for Danny too that it's his alma mater, his wife's alma mater too.
well, I don't know.
You know?
I think the NCAA needs to look into this. I don't know that these guys, these donors, these big money donors should be able to coerce and persuade these kids. And now we do have the NIL now, so maybe it's legal, but I don't know. I think the NCAA needs to figure out.
You have Sophie's game on your
Yeah,
screen.
Thing's been on replay since
Man,
Saturday.
you know what, man? I've never watched soccer, so it's kind of neat. So I'm listening to Danny look at me like, you're an idiot, right? So, but I'm watching this, man. But you watch Sophie, and I go back to when she was like young, and you'll see her out here, and she's just like this crazy athlete playing D1 soccer, and she is just a little rocket, dude. I mean, she's all over the place.
Love it.
And the only reason I can find her is she's got on bright orange shoes. And she's 4'1". I mean, those two things together makes you her feet and her ponytails are the same shot. So it's like, but it really is. It's kind of neat to see that, and you can just see a proud dad, and I'm sure Sean.
I love it.
And I was talking to Danny, and he was the same way. They were all here. They had a game watch. Here the other night.
Showroom.
Yeah, in the back showroom. But I think it's quite. I was telling Denny the next time she plays, we should all just kind of come in, and it probably mean a lot to Sophie, especially for me. I want to see her play because, like I said, we've for us guys that's been here for her, it'd be awesome to actually see.
It's
that.
exciting seeing that next
The
step,
hard
too,
work pays off.
Yeah, and people jumping from high school to college is a big jump.
It's a big
Everyone in
transition.
college is good.
Yeah,
Everyone.
it's a big transition, and I think the work, the quality of work, along with the work that you put in. But that's why I'm so adamant with my son, teaching him at a high level right now, and I've always done that. We teach him at a high level, at a college level, and he understands I got to get up and work out, I got to eat right, I got to sleep right, and things like that. And he's 15, man, so you can try to get a 15-year-old to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and make sure he eats his food, and he's like, dude, just give me a toast and I'm out.
Let's go.
I'm good. So
He needs a little more than
that's
toast.
what we are. And then we would be crazy, okay, if we didn't talk about the fact that next Saturday.
Oh, I can't even wait. Just don't even start. I'm already ready.
Have you seen the changes they made to the stadium?
I saw
that new
some.
screen's so
Yeah,
cool.
and the screen is amazing.
So that's on the outside. This is like
Yeah.
on the concourse now.
It's pretty. When the sun goes down, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I cannot
It's pretty
wait.
wild. It's changed a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I get this itch and this. It's almost like getting a haircut for me. I get really
What?
excited. When I get a haircut,
The little things you look forward to.
when I get a haircut, I get all excited, man. It's like, here I come, get ready. That is the first week of football for me. I've already warned Nikki that understand the house projects and everything. They're gonna go wait till like March or April. It just happens, and then we'll start again when whatever else is on. So, but I'm telling you right
He's
now,
just dying
football
over there.
starts.
He's just talking about that.
I'm in till noon. Just leave me alone. You know how maybe you don't, but I get giddy when I get a haircut. I'm like, let's go,
I
let's
don't,
go.
man. It's just, it's something about it. But, you got to look forward to something, bud.
Wait till you get to my age and I'll tell you the haircut means something.
I think in your age, you just got to be happy you got a hair to cut.
Hey, you wake up, next.
But you talk about the facilities that they're going over there, not just the stadium changes that they made, but some of the facilities that they have for these college students and what they've done. And the first thing I think about, really, to be honest with you, how cool is Jamie Pollard?
That all ramps up the mindset too, though. Of being
For
part
sure.
of something bigger.
All the time.
Big picture.
My son's big for my son right now.
Cyclone football back when I went in 2007 is different than Cyclone football now, and it's just
absolutely.
it's just a culture difference.
Facilities have a big thing to do with when you're recruiting these young men. They're coming in, even as a parent of a kid that is starting that process. How my son's conditioning is going to be is plays a big part. When I go to a college, I want to know. I mean, how is he going to be taken care of? What kind of physicians are on site? Things like that.
Yep.
So it makes a big difference. But I was alluding to Jamie Pollard. And you think about when Jamie got here, where we were and where we are, and his outward thinking. You think about it. He's it's always funny. kind of cool to watch him. 2 years ago, he had this vision about what he thought this football facilities and things should look like, and now we're all watching it evolve. So it's like, you know, how cool do you have to be to say, man, this is what I'm thinking? You know, I built this in a sandbox, now let's go get it
Let's
built.
go get it.
You know?
Let's get it done.
But it has to do with, you know, great mindset, great leader, you know, in Pollard, and then great fans, you know, and great financial people to say, hey, you know what, and you get a guy like Matt Campbell in there, and
Dude's done a heck of a job. Unbelievable.
You know, it's funny because I remember us playing Toledo, and I remember Paul Roach driving him around and just kind of showing him the you know, just what was here then, the facilities, and the tailgating was a big thing for you know, Matt when he came through. He's like, I can't believe you guys have designated like full fields. So they went around, and he was just he was so excited about Cyclone football before he was even a coach, that he came in with the right mindset, and he just, dude, it's been awesome because it's work for him, and it's kind of like our store. You know, our store, we always talk about it's all about the culture. And we're not willing to, you know, mess with that for anybody. We don't just hire anybody. We make sure that the, you know, salespeople we hire are just good people, and it's the same thing over there. So great season.
Oh,
it's coming.
It'll be fun, baby.
So let me ask you this: is there an L on this schedule?
There is.
Now don't listen. Don't give me a homer call.
You want me to
no
answer,
homer call.
Answer as a fan, or
Yes.
Hey, this thing's gonna be out there, so you answer however you want. You just gotta deal with it.
If there's gonna be a year, this is the year.
I knew you were going to say that, and I'm going to say no. There is not. We are winning every game.
All right. Hey. Listen, go ahead, keep your Cardinal and gold on. I'm with you. The truth of it is, there's a loss on the schedule.
Are you talking about the Huskers? Or?
I'm talking about they already lost.
That's
so
what I mean.
Don't try to throw that in my face. Hey, listen, man. I can live with not being good. I got no problem because I'm a football fan.
Yeah.
Right. So I understand when you're not good, you're just not good. Hey, man. We're not good. I was talking to my neighbor the other day. He's Alabama, from Alabama, so not a bandwagon. He's a true Alabamian. And I told him, I said, hey, we're just not good. You know, you're trying to clean up a lot of mess. I'm going to tell you this. If the quarterback you had 4 or 5 years ago wasn't winning 4 or 5 years ago, he ain't winning right now, bro. You need a new quarterback. But
that's what the N stands for, and not good.
Right now, that's what it stands for.
Next year.
But I'll tell you this, the N on that helmet stands for national champions, and that's why there's no N in Iowa, bro. But we don't have to go there. You know, we're going to leave that away. We're going to leave that alone. But here's what I will tell you. You know, if you really want to be a true football fan and you look at the schedule, as good as Iowa State is, and they are good, I'm gonna tell you, Oklahoma might be the best team in the country.
Yeah, they're pretty stacked.
When you look at their football program across the board, offensively, defensively, line play, you know, DBs, everything, they really are. And the truth of it is, when you have everything else and you got a really good quarterback, and I think Spencer Rattler, some of the things he says, he comes off pretty arrogant, and I think that's the one thing he'll work on going forward is not coming off arrogant. But I'll tell you, he's a great quarterback. And when you have all that, I don't know that there's a team better than Oklahoma. Now, I say that to say this. Any given Saturday, you know, can the Cyclones show up and beat them? Absolutely, because they're a great team, too.
There's not a whole lot of better teams better put together than the Cyclones, though, either.
There it is. It's Oklahoma.
We've got great leadership at quarterback. We've got great leadership on defense. We've got great leadership at the head coach, both coordinators. Athletic, I mean, we've got
sounds like Oklahoma.
That's what I'm saying.
Sounds like Clemson.
You know what's funny about that comment?
Haven't we beaten Oklahoma the last 2 years?
I think that's great.
But here's the great part about his comment.
It's pretty wild.
His comment really says to where Oklahoma used to be.
Dude, they
to
put
where
70
Iowa
on
State's
us
now
when I came as a freshman. They put 70 on us when I was a freshman.
You know what?
Here's
It's like I talk about when I talk about cars. Everybody makes a good car. Some people just make them better. This isn't a knock on Iowa State.
Right.
I'm just being honest with you. If there's a team that can beat them, and maybe I should say it like that. If there's a team that can beat Iowa State, it's Oklahoma.
Right.
Maybe I'm going about it wrong by saying, is there an L on the schedule?
Yeah.
If there is a team that can beat Iowa State, it's probably Oklahoma, and both of those teams. So here's what I think about that. If both of those teams show up and they both have their best game, who wins?
Where's the game?
It's in Norman.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's in Norman. Where's the game? It's in Norman.
Is it? Okay, I didn't know. I haven't checked the schedule.
It's in Norman.
It will have to be a perfect game by Iowa State.
No, I said if both teams have
perfect game.
If both teams play a perfect game, who wins the game?
As a fan, I say the Cyclones because I like the way Campbell manages his players. manages emotions,
Hey,
makes
hey,
adjustments.
not a bad coach at OU.
I didn't.
Not a bad
yeah,
coach at OU.
You've been there a while.
I mean, I think you got two great coaches, and they're
Yeah.
both player coaches, and I think they both have the same concept. You don't hear bad things out of each place.
I think Oklahoma has more to lose in the game because
Oh, so now, so I get.
the
I've been really
pressure's
watching
on,
myself.
the pressure's on OU in that game.
I don't know. I've been really watching myself about saying that because as fans, we need to really stop putting ourselves down. Because if you think about that statement, it's kind of like you're saying Oklahoma has more to lose. No.
They have the pressure.
On-
Maybe not more to
hey.
lose because this is our
Yeah.
year if
Hey,
it is.
This is our.
Pump your
But
brakes, Midas.
They,
Pump your brakes. If we're
yeah.
the program that we say we are and we think we are,
Yeah.
then we should make statements like that. We should make statements like, hey, we both got a lot to lose. I'm just as good. That's when
That
they
is
start
true.
bringing yourself down a tier.
That is true.
I think Iowa State is at the same level as Oklahoma. I said, if there's a team that can beat them,
this year, not
right,
as
we're
far.
talking right now. We're talking
Okay,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
present.
Yeah.
If there's a team that can knock off Iowa State this year, it's going to be OU. I hope they run their first game. I hope not that I want you to run the score up on somebody, but you and I will tell me a lot.
Yeah.
Bottom line, just tell you and I tell me a lot. So that has a lot to do with it. Well, just know. So let's just call this, and then we'll move on from football
Okay.
because this is not a ESPN
I
football
thought we
show.
were, yeah.
This is something totally different. We're just trying to be honest. So if we're being honest,
Yeah,
how many losses this year?
one.
I got two probably.
I got two.
I got two.
I'm a
Here's why I
two-loss
said
team.
one. I said they're going to beat them in Oklahoma and they'll get beat in the championship game.
I think there's a two-loss team. I think they'll lose. I think they'll lose during the season. And as much as I want to say that's Oklahoma, then I don't think it's Oklahoma in a regular season.
I think we lose to OU in the Big 12 championship.
That's
and
when I think you
And
lose
then I
to
think
OU.
we get a really good bowl, and I think we get a bad matchup. And I hate to say that, but I think we
No,
lose our bowl game.
I don't think
And
that's
I
the
hate-
loss.
I hate to
I don't
say
think
it.
that's a loss because one thing I can tell you about Matt is he's a finisher.
Yeah.
Matt doesn't show up to anything not to win. He's just better. Big time players make big plays
Yes.
and big times, right?
Well,
And that's
we're
Matt
going to-
Campbell. He's going to make big plays. So I'm going to tell you, there's two losses. They're going to lose in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, maybe.
Part of that's going to be because the Big 12 needs them to lose in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to get- yeah.
The other thing I'm going to tell you is this, is I think there's a slip up during the season.
Oof.
Nobody likes going to Texas. Kansas State's always had our number.
Oklahoma State, it's always that weird game, makes
Ball
you feel
control,
weird.
ball control,
You
ball
know, so there's just one of
Hey,
those
as
things.
long
so
as
just
it's
think about
not week 2, I'm good.
Hey,
As long as it's not week 2, I'm good.
you can love it, you can hate it, hard times, and
Right.
everybody knows I'm not a gigantic, fan either way, but you have to respect the fact that Kirk Ferentz does what he does year after year. He's got a great offensive line, great defensive line, and he can slow the game down.
And that's what's
And
gonna
if you can
happen.
slow the game down against a team like Iowa State that wants to get out and just play fast, it just puts Iowa in the best position. Now, if they come out and they score 14 points, all the Iowa fans can go home because they're never going to get back in that game. So you hate him or you love him. You got to love the fact that Kirk Ferentz is who he is. Guy just does good. I mean, whatever you want to call it. I'm not rude. I'm not saying go Hawks. I'm just saying he does a good job.
Longest tenured in college football, right?
Yeah, you've been there a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just
All
hey.
right,
I like good coaches.
I don't wanna talk about
Okay. So we all gotta say. So which brings us, as we've been going through this thing, we've really been talking about kind of the COVID and what it's come in to do in the car business and kind of how it's affected us. And now we got this chip deal. That we were
Yep.
talking about a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And now we got a whole nother, you got weather that's coming in. We had real bad storms in the south. I don't know if you guys are following this, which is going to affect some of our allocation and things like that. Things are just going to change. So as Toyota dealers, we got to be a little more creative in how you're doing things. So from a SmartPass standpoint, from a sales side of it, what are you doing differently? How does it affect you every day now that if I'm telling you, you're probably not going to see a new car for 30 days.
Right. I think the biggest thing on our side is being proactive. Being proactive with customers, being upfront and honest, and really having the conversation about if you really want that car, let's go get it. And it may take 3 months, it may take 6 months, but if that's what you want, let's get it done. Let's get it taken care of and move to the next step. As far as with the allocations, when we can't control things that aren't in our hands, it's easier just to have a conversation up front and be honest about it and just say, hey, here's where we're at. We're not alone in this. You can see the whole market. You can see it in the food industry. You can see it in Menards.
Yeah.
Same things are happening all over. So now it's a matter of how do we handle it, how
You
do we
can
move
see it in the
forward.
refrigerator that I still don't have in my house. But you were talking about it earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I think
It is.
I think a lot of dealers, those dealers that are frustrated with the manufacturing line, I really, encourage them to really pay attention. This is no one's fault. I mean, no
Right.
one. This isn't something
Right.
that the manufacturers they put together. It's just a freak of nature, and this is where we are. So I think it's when we talk about great leadership, I listen to Danny on our meetings when he's talking to Toyota. I just like his stance as to, hey, you know what, guys. We understand it's not you guys. We know there's something that you can't control. I mean, control the controllables, and this isn't one of them. So you really got to be there and be supportive to the manufacturers too, and understand, hey man, I know you're trying to get us cars. I was talking to some of the guys from the region that came up this week, and that was a big thing.
Right.
Brett just kept saying, man, I'm sorry that you're going through this, and I'm sorry. I said, dude,
Yeah.
you didn't do it. I'm glad you're not building cars, bro. I mean, but I appreciate the fact that they have some compassion about what's going on, and as salespeople, you guys are understanding, and as from the management side of it, man, every day I show up in the store, and Josh and Steve, I can speak for them as well. We just want to make sure that our salespeople are taken care of, and that we're doing whatever we can. So we're in the middle of things, and you guys, we're transparent. I mean, I've told you guys, we tell you
Very
what we
much.
know. There's no secrets on our side. I mean, I think it's important that you know what's really going on in the industry, and it too shall pass.
Right. It will. Agreed.
When the region was up here, they kind of talked about, how we were doing things a little different than some other places too. When somebody's coming in and they're looking for that car we can't get, rather than just telling them, you're kind of SOL at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd love to get you the car, we just can't. But if you're okay waiting 3, 6, 9 months, we don't know what it is. We'll stay in front of you. We'll take care of you. We want to do business with you. We want you to do business with us.
Right.
We'll take care of you when we can. And you know what I mean? I think that was really eye-opening for me
Yeah.
to see that.
Well, the one thing that will always be worth money is good customer service.
Right.
And when you can give good customer service, it pays off when you have times like this. And,
Right.
and Wilson Toyota, and I've been here a long time, we pride ourselves on taking care of our customers. I have a tougher time getting Denny or Danny to say no to something that a customer needs. I mean, and you hear us every meeting. Denny Wilson will tell you, do not say no to our customers. Everything's within reason. Let's figure out a way to say yes. Let's figure out a way to take care of them. That doesn't mean all the time that you're going to pay their bill. But if I can help them, a few $100s here or a few $1,000s there, then we want to do that. So it kind of goes down to this right here.
It builds trust.
We want our customers to know that it may be 3 months, it may be 6 months, maybe not, it might be a year.
Right.
But I think because we have built such relationship and with our customers that they understand, man, we're shooting a straight line. And
Right.
Toyota, to be honest with you, is doing a really good job of getting these vehicles out to us a lot quicker. Which is cool.
Yeah, we'd be here to sell you a car today, but we'll also be here to sell you a car in 9 months.
Yeah, I mean, and then we're, like what you were saying, Chad, just being honest up front with people, letting them know. I mean, we're actually right on our order sheets. It could be 3, 6, or 9
Right,
months.
absolutely.
Which is don't be looking at stuff flying by, man.
That's
You make me nervous, man. It's behind me, dude. You know where I'm from, man. I don't town like that, dog. I mean, it's either a drive by or something, bro. I mean,
Stuff with wings makes me nervous.
Hey, man, I'm just saying, man, where I'm from, where you run, I run. I don't need to ask any questions. I just run. So it makes a little different. Don't be doing that to me, man. I'm about ready to run.
Yeah.
We just do stuff like that. But when we get to the times that we are, you've been dealing with SmartPath
Yes.
on a front basis. And last week we had a few guys come up from Toyota Regions. Has been just absolutely great.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Charles and Brett.
Yeah.
I emailed Charles and Adam last week or 2 weeks ago, and I said, hey, Chad's going to be doing this. We need to get refreshed. Can you get somebody up? How soon? Dude, it was like 5 days, bro.
They were there.
I mean, it's like, and I think we had these guys for 4 days.
Yeah, they were here for 4 days last week, and it was one of those things where even though I may be a little bit in the forefront as far as the curve, as far as using it every day and doing things, the funny part is you still learn every time you use it. Every single time you learn some trick, and what I mean by a trick is how to get, the SmartPath is about the customer, right? It's about getting it in front of the customer and having the customer see the opportunities they have in front of them, put themselves in the best position they can put themselves in. That's how I look at it. So with me, I'm to the point now of having a conversation with the customer and going, okay, now here, and they walk through the path themselves. And I sit there and guide them to the end, And that's it. And so I think when we get to the point of everyone here doing the same thing, I think it's gonna be awesome, because if, whether they're 79 or 18, the fact that they all can do it when they come in here is the biggest thing. And I think it's awesome. And I think learning stuff every time, it's like riding a bike. The more you do it, the easier it gets, right?
Absolutely. The more times you do it, just kind of as dealers kind of take on SmartPath, and SmartPath is a new deal. I mean, I guess what I would say to anybody that's new to SmartPath, my biggest deal is I'm gonna truly commend the support that we've had from Toyota, because keep in mind, I mean, we talked about last time, we launched this thing in the middle of a pandemic, but I had Charles Hancock here for 2 days. And he showed up in the morning and he gave me his undivided attention, you and I both.
Yeah.
And we really kind of got into the backside, and we were able to show him all these quirky little things that's going on. And he got on, and we got support right now, and those guys are a lot smarter than we are.
I think the reason that's so cool is because Toyota's doing this all themselves. You know, there's not an outside company that's, you know, doing the software for them. They're not coding it for Toyota. I mean, this is something that Toyota has done by themselves, which I think has allowed us to kind of control not only the process but the product. You know, how do I do this? It'd be cool if it did X, or it'd be cool if you could do this. And they were able to make it happen.
You know what
was
amazed
really
me
cool
when they were here though? The craziest part that he said to me that I thought that really stuck with me, how many updates did they have? Did you catch that?
It's like your iPhone.
It's ridiculous. I think
It's
we've
like
done
iPhone.
15 now updates since it started of them progressing.
Well, you
Us
think
progressing the product.
You know, and that's where Toyota is. We always talk about Kaizen and what it means, and going forward, and always having improvements and things like that. So you get this thing, and when we first launched it, man, I'm telling you, I was like, whew, man, I don't know about that, bro. You know,
I was like, how you turn it on?
I had salespeople, man. But as it evolved, you know, and having Charles here, he was talking about the updates and what it's doing, and you know, we got the technical side from Charles. Man, Charles is my dog, man.
He get down in there.
Man, you sometimes he get too deep, and I'm like, it's like the Matrix, bro. I mean, you be like. Like, Charles, I don't know what you're talking about, man. You know, it's like, dude, I don't know what you said, but I like it.
Was that the same
like
cat?
Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, was that the same cat?
Like Money Mayweather. I don't know what you said, man, but I like it. I don't know what you said, but I like
such
it.
a good interview.
But, you know, and then it was kind of neat to really kind of get Brett come in. And I met Brett years ago. He was like one of the first region guys that I met when I started with Toyota 17 years ago. So he's been there a long time. But it was neat to have Brett come in and be hands-on with the salespeople.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just so cool to have him. And he sat here for 2 days.
And you know what the crazy part is? How long did he sit here? The
All
first day.
All day, the first
7
day.
p.m.
Yeah. He was
7
here.
p.m.
But he sat with each salesperson and asked them, hey, where are you having issues? Let's go through it, and went through a scenario. So as these different dealers pick up SmartPath, and they're wondering, you know, I've been with Toyota for 17 years. They've just done an unbelievable job of just supporting this thing and getting people out in front of you and and then the guys behind the scenes, I mean, I'm sending emails and I'm getting replies like right now.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, okay,
absolutely.
How does it look? What is it doing? So, you know, SmartPath is one of those things, man, to where I think Toyota hit the jackpot with this guy.
It is already to the point of getting amazing, and when everything continues to get better, it's only going to benefit the customer. That's what it's intended to do. That's what it's going to do.
Well, and if you make the customer's life easy,
hey,
they make your life easy. It's just cool. It's one of those things. I didn't want to go without talking about the support side of SmartPath.
It's amazing.
With Toyota. I thought that was really, really cool to have those guys come up. And just the timing, dude. I mean, think about it, that's 4 days from the region where they got. I mean, we're not the only dealer. There's dealers all over the place, but just to get. You know, 2 guys for 4 days. It was just awesome, and we got a lot accomplished and things like that. And
we did.
So you got a chance to really kind of work on that process and things like that. Yeah.
But the cool part was both of them said, "How can I help? What do you need me to do? How can I help?" That was the best part. It wasn't let's come in here and go A to Z. It was how can I help?
And that was a cool. You know, the cool thing was. You know, when Brian came in here, he's flying out of, I don't know where he's coming from, California. Who knows where? The dude's cool as all get out, dude. I can sit with Brian all day long. But when Brian came in here, he was the same way. And that would be like Danny Wilson coming down and just sitting at your desk and going, all right, how do we do this? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like neat to have him come
Yeah.
in, and we went through all this. So you're talking about the guy that is way up here that comes down to really sit with you and your salespeople, and then you get the region come in and they're sitting with you. But the support side, man, I don't know who these guys are
I don't either.
that are sitting wherever they are.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call their names out. They might have somebody looking for them, but I'm serious. I mean, I'm looking at my email. I sent an email to Brett at like 3:54. At 3:57, I got an email from Brett and the David guy that's working on it. So
Yep.
it's one of those things to where Toyota has done an amazing job getting this thing out there, and we understand that it's going to be a little quirky.
But it's only 2:45.
This is a different day, man. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. That's why you back there. That's why people can't see me. You know, it's always the smart guys that have something to say.
That's why you back there.
That's why. Yeah,
I call him Yoda for a reason, though.
Toyota.
My Yoda.
You're my Toyota.
Oh, wise you are.
See, this is when you get on these rants about, who's that? Who's that?
How many coffees have you had today?
Too many.
Enough.
I saw you come back
feel
from
warm, and I
Scooters.
don't know why.
Dude,
Why?
the scooters, dude.
I saw you come back from
Hey.
Scooters with a whole tray.
I was smiling when I went through the drive-thru. She's like, "You're only getting 4 tonight? You're only getting 4?" And I'm like, "Sorry, but I'll be back."
Are
Hey, you know
First
you
name
drink too
basis
much
yet?
coffee. Yeah, you drink too much coffee when they pull up and they don't even see
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Is this Chad?
They're like, "Hey, at least I now have rewards. I can get rewarded for filling."
Well, I tell you, man,
Ah.
but it's good to get that, and you
Yeah.
ain't supposed to be like promoting any, places,
I
man.
want-
So stop bringing stuff up like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I
So
went to get some coffee
somewhere,
somewhere.
and if you were on a scooter,
Yeah.
you could get to that.
You still
place.
get there.
Yeah, yeah. And make sure you get a Caramelicious with an extra shot.
Ooh,
Anyway,
yeah.
so I kind of got you hooked there, don't I?
Yeah,
I'm
thanks
telling
for
you,
that.
dude, the extra
Thanks for
shot.
that.
You
That's
don't
just
need
what
the
I
extra
needed,
shot.
2 extra shots.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You've been transitioning. It's been,
Yes.
maybe 2 weeks now that you're kind of getting
Yep.
into this. What do you think the toughest task for you and salespeople? What's the toughest thing that you're having to get them to do on a consistent
Yeah,
basis?
I think the hardest thing for everyone is change, right? I think the hardest thing is change. It doesn't matter if you're new, doesn't matter if you're young, doesn't matter if you're old. The hardest thing to change. So my biggest challenge was, how do I make it easy from A to Z? I know I say it's about the customer, but if we have a tool in front of us, how do we make it easy for ourselves to make it easy for the customer? So when I sat down, again, when the guys were here and we had the conversations, was how do we establish an easy start, an easy middle, and an easy end? And as we sat down and kind of walked through and talked, I still think the hardest thing is, how do I get people to believe that it's as easy as I say it is? Because it really is. I did a deal in
I think
8
people-
minutes.
It's
8
like a
minutes.
too good to be true deal. You're going down the street and you see something and you're like, that can't be right. It's too
Yeah.
good to be true. And that's kind of what SmartPath really is, because when they introduced it to us, I was like, it can't be that simple. If it was that
Yeah.
simple, they would have done it a long time ago.
Right.
But it is. It's one of those
It
too
is.
good to be true things, and it's made life easier.
You know the best part is, and I'm 51, right?
Dang.
I'm 3 offices down from Tron. I'm not even gonna look at it now. I'm not even gonna look back. 3 offices down. I don't even have to get up to come in here to do a deal.
It's the best part about
I
it.
don't have to get off my desk. I can sit here and have a conversation. They can pick everything that they want to do that best benefits them from beginning to end. And I
You
just
never
think-
have to leave.
But I think that comes
But
from
it's
your
not.
understanding of the tool
And
too.
it is. And
you
it
know,
is.
I think as we
It
get
is.
more people into the kind of realm of using SmartPath
Right.
with every deal, and
That's
not
the key.
sprinkling in 2, 3,
That's the thing.
I think them understanding the tool from such a deep level where they don't have to think about using the
Right.
tool. Because I've seen you where you'll use the tool and it's like second nature. I mean,
Yeah.
and people are, what are you doing? It's because you understand the tool.
Well,
and I think that's really, really
I
important
think there's 3
to
things.
make it easy for your customer.
Understanding, believing in, the other thing, and riding it just like you ride a bike. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
Repetition is the key.
Yep.
Repetition
Yeah,
is the key with
100%.
anything, muscle memory, when you
100%.
talk about sports and things like that. And I think with these guys, the more you use anything, the more you do something, the better it gets. And I think
Right.
for me, when I look at the toughest task that I'm having you know, from a management side is I'm really trying to get these guys to understand that the tool is meant so you don't leave your desk.
That's right.
You know,
That's
and
right.
we've come up with a process now where the management, as soon as that pops in, I'm right on the chat side
Right.
of it, and I'm like, hey, how can I help you?
Right.
So you know that somebody's working your deal.
Right.
But we really have to work with our salespeople, and that's what we're working on. Hey, man, they're so used to getting up and leaving the customer and coming to you and
Yeah.
doing all those things that it's a different transition. It's a change to
It
get
is
them
a
to
change.
stay in their
It's a
office.
change.
So that's going to be like our toughest task. Is you know, and I know I look good. You know, and that's the problem right there. They want to come in and they want to see me because they're like, dude, I mean,
Did he just say
dude,
he's like a fresh
Hey,
haircut?
hey, man, hey, I don't need no haircut, man. I can do it with a TWA, man. You know what that is, right?
What?
A teeny weeny afro, bro. I mean, we can get down either way, man.
Smart Pat, here I come. I mean, he's through that
That's
out
the
there.
biggest thing, man, is we got to be able to get the salespeople to stay with the customer and not leave the desk.
Right.
The other thing I really want to push going forward is I really want to encourage our salespeople to do more of this and allow the customer to actually navigate through
Right.
this thing. It's kind of cool for them and they're having fun and that's why they like to hold the pad.
Right.
But we really want to push them to hand it to the customer. And I know with the COVID thing and all that.
Do you think that'll come with a confidence in the understanding of the tool, though? You know, if you don't understand the tool, it's kind of hard to turn it around and hear you do it. Because if you have a question and I don't know how, you know what I mean? I think that confidence in the tool is going to.
I
But
agree
here's
with
what I
It's a
think
big
about
deal.
SmartPath. When we get to the point where the customer's in full control of everything, right? And the customer's figured out a car. The customer's, we've already put in the trade. We're moving to the next steps. When the pad is in front of the customer, everything is in their hands going forward. And what I mean by that is, what do they want to pick for terms? Do they want to lease? Do they want to finance? What do they want to put down? Do we want to see what something else is
And
different?
that sets up
They
an
can
ease that
change
builds
everything.
trust in you.
Right.
You know, you're not
They
running
can
back
change
and
it to
forth to
their-
a manager. Well, what are they talking about in there?
Yeah.
What do they do? You know,
Yeah, and
they are.
that's
it's
exactly
you
what's
and the
what we need.
customer versus not versus, but you and the customer working the deal with the manager. It's not
Right.
You know, this is what we
we
have
are
for you.
figuring things out. They're signing off on it.
Yep.
That's it.
It's just it's the process in which they're doing.
It's really
things.
cool.
It
different.
is really
It's
cool.
different, and it actually is freaking some customers out. they're like, well, I want. I'm like, you already
Do
did it.
whatever you want.
It's done.
Yeah,
you
hit the
already-
buttons.
And the best part is when a customer says something like, well, what's 2,000 do? If I change it from 1,500 to
Put it
2,000,
in
what does
there.
it do? They change it to 2,000, and they're like, that works.
Yep.
Now what do I do? And I'm like,
You're
Push the
good.
big red
hit
button.
the button. Yeah, the red button.
You're
And they're like, what do I do? Hey, congratulations.
You bought a car. There you go.
Yeah. But no, and the coolest part is then I come in with Utron, hit you, hey, they good.
We print it and hand
He
it out,
comes
have
out,
it signed, and you're ready.
Hey,
to go.
guess what? Customers in and out now.
Yeah,
I
and
would say
that's
it
the cool
speeds it
thing.
up a lot.
And that's the
Speeds
part.
it
I
up a
mean,
lot.
we want to make sure that it's convenient for our customers, and that's where the process comes from, and it keeps the salesperson
Yeah.
engaged, and you're able to actually interact with the customer, and they're doing their own thing. So I mean,
Right. It's
again,
cool.
I'll tell you, too
It's
good
cool.
to be true. That would be one of those things that I
Yeah.
think the consumer thinks. And you know, from a Toyota standpoint, I mean, jackpot. I mean, this is
I
one of
think
those deals to where
Yeah.
they thought it through, and they're working through the course. You know, the one thing I wish they would have done is I wish they would have involved, you know, at the sales level, you know, before they launched this thing, because we probably could have told them a lot of things early. That would have really helped them going forward. Hey man, we
Right.
need to do this. It needs to do this.
Right.
But they're working through it. The fact that they have that they just get right back to you, it makes it easy going forward. And that's just easy. Man, what it took us so long, man?
Well, I think here and how we're doing it, creating A to Z of simplicity from A to Z on our end, which makes it easy on the customer's end, is what's going to be the win.
Yeah.
Scanning a phone and putting in the information, picking the car, getting you the trade ahead of time, doing everything so that the customer is in and out of here in a timely fashion. Because what do they say all the time?
Takes
I
me
hate,
home.
I hate being 3 hours. I had a guy tell me last week he was at a car dealer 6 hours to buy his car. And you know what I said to him? Why'd you stay?
Yeah.
True.
Why are you there
That's a long
6
time.
hours to buy a car?
Dude, you know what? That's where these Carvanas and all these Zooms and all that's Vrooms
crazy.
and whatever. This is where these manufacturers are coming from, and they're like, dude, I'll just bring the car to you.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. The car is the star.
That's right.
Okay? The car is a star, and if you don't have anybody there to tell you why you should be buying that car, if we're just sending cars to people, I didn't do a needs analysis to make sure that this is the right car for you. I could be selling you
Is it
something
the
you
right
don't
fit?
need. Right.
Yeah.
So that's where I think the smart path side of it, where you still keep the salesperson engaged, and we're understanding that let's make sure we're selling you the right car. Let's make sure we're getting you everything that you need to be successful or accommodate you in your automotive needs. And that's where the other man's tough. I see, look at you two over there, and I see you sweating and you sweating. I'm cool as all get out, man.
Hey, I'm always sweating. I'm old.
I don't know what's wrong with you guys. So I'll tell you. So I got a weird question for you. So I had a sales guy come and ask me. He was like, "Hey man, I hear you do a lot of stuff, talk about a lot of people, motivate a lot of people. I want to be successful." I said, "Great. I hope that you want to be successful." I said, "You know, the first thing I asked him was, what is success to you?" A lot of times when you ask that with people, it's always financial. So we'll deal with the financial side of it. He says, I want to make over $100,000 a year. I said, okay, first of all, you got to function like a guy that wants to make over $100,000 a year. He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, let me help you. What time do we open? We open at 8:30. Are you here at 8? Are you here at 8:15? What time do you get here? Are you just walking in at 8:30? Are you just getting your tie on? I said, when you're just getting here with your tie still hanging off and you're not ready to go and you didn't comb your hair and things like that and you're rushing, then that lets me know that you may want to be on. You may think you want a $100,000 guy, but you don't function like a $100,000 guy. There's certain things that successful people automatically do. Okay? They come to work.
Right.
You know, I remember I was listening to Denzel and he said, hard work works. You know, so when I hear a guy say, hey, I want to be successful, you know, the first thing I do is I pay attention to his work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, you want to make $100,000. My first question to you is, do you have a $100,000 work ethic?
Right.
You know, so I really encourage him. I want you to sit down and I want you to write your day down. You know, I said, well, I want to know what you're doing from the time you get up to the time you leave work.
And not what you think you should be doing.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna know.
What do you do?
And that's the toughest thing to me. I always tell guys, be honest with me. When I'm training guys, I'm like, listen, dude, don't tell me the answer that I know is right. I already trained you on the answer.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna know what you do, and if it's
Growth
wrong,
is in
that's
the
okay.
honesty for sure.
Well, the truth of it is, be wrong in training, right? It doesn't cost you anything if you're wrong in training. You know, if you're wrong in front of the customer, they ain't never coming back.
Does he know how big he is? Because it does matter in training. I sweat more in training than anything. He'd be like,
That is not true.
24, 7, 10, I don't know, man. No.
But I encourage him to write his day down. You know, I want to know, you should know for yourself, what are you doing every day? Because I think the first time that I did that, I realized that I was spending more time not working than I was working. And if I was there 12 hours, I've only done 3 hours worth of work, and it really made me start thinking about my day, right? And breaking it down. I said, hey, first of all, you got to have a game plan, right? Write down what you do all day. Once you get that figured out, then you can kind of look at it and say, okay, where can I place these things? Where can I place phone calls? Where can I place emails? Where's my time to study my product? The biggest thing, the next time we all get together, we're going to talk about product knowledge.
Okay.
I mean, that is a big deal. That just put that on your radar. I'm telling you, you want to make more money, you want to be more successful, know your products. I said it earlier, the car is the star. It's really hard to talk about the star if you don't know what it is.
We've always been a training-based store, which I think is why things like SmartPath, things like product knowledge have kind of come a little easier somewhat to our staff because the application's there because we understand the learning process of stuff like that too.
Well, we got scheduled training for 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And I know there's somebody out there going, holy smokes, they train 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we train 3 days a week, but it allows our dealers to make changes on a turn, right now on the dime. Yeah. Something comes up, we got a training class coming up, we sit in front of them, and we don't care if you've been here, 10 days or 10 years. I mean, we train everybody because the business moves like that. But when you talk about these guys, and I'm talking about these guys about wanting to be successful, I asked them, I said, do you know what it takes to get to where you want to get to? You say you want to make $100,000. How much money do you need to make every month? How many cars do you need to sell? What are you making per car? How many ups do you need to take? He's like, wait, what? I can't just make $100,000?
$275 a day, right?
I mean, look, this dude, he's heard this before. I've talked to him about this before, right? You have to understand how to get to where you're going, or you're just walking with your eyes closed.
And if you don't have a path to get there, forget it.
And as a group, you're only as fast as your slowest guy. So when those kinds of, you see those things, I mean, we want to make sure we pick those guys up for sure.
Absolutely, but we lead from the front. You
pick up Brad.
Hey man, whatever it takes, right? You know,
I'm tired of carrying him, man.
Wow.
you know, whatever it takes. But you know, to be
Yeah.
successful and whatever you have to do, you know, as a salesperson in the sales business, the first thing you got to realize is that the consumer comes first.
100%.
You know, at all costs, we want to make sure that we're taking care of the consumer. We're making their life easier. And I think a lot of times salespeople, they get mixed up in the money side of it. They forget about the consumer side of it. And that's why you got so many horror stories,
Yeah,
right? That's why you got so
Yeah.
many customers that rather get their teeth pulled than buy a car.
right.
Right? Because they've been
Right.
ruined by some guy. So the first thing you got to do if you really want to be successful in this business is you have to understand that the customers, you need customers, so you got to take care of them first.
Right.
Second of all, you got to have a game plan. Right? I mean, if you don't know where you're going, how can I know where you're going?
Right.
I can believe in you, I can't believe for you, kind of thing. Right? So
True.
we really push this guy. I really push this young man. Actually, it was a group of young men. I really pushed him to come up with a game plan.
Yeah.
You know, don't tell me you want to be successful, but then you're late to work, or you're taking extra days off, or
Right.
you're not doing what it takes to learn your product, and you're not following the steps and following the process. You know, it's one thing to tell me you want to be successful. It's another thing to show me you want to be successful. If you want to be successful around me, I'm gonna tell you, I'm straight line. I'm 100% line. I get up every day. It's a full run out. I don't even look. Sometimes I don't even check my main. I just get up and go. Right? We're ready to go 100% of the time. And I tell these guys, this is what it's all about. Come to work.
Yeah.
I told you guys before, man. You want me to not come here? Don't pay me.
Yeah. You have said that.
Period. I mean, it's easy. Only one reason why we leave our families and our loved ones and things like that to come to this address is to make money. And if you haven't figured that out yet,
Right.
you know,
Right.
the consumers. So success, we tell those guys to be successful, you just got to push success. You got to be there. You got to be on time. You got to have a game plan. And we'll get into some of the things because I got these guys. I got them writing out their schedules, and I want them to write out because I want us three to really go over that schedule, see what it looks like. And kind of come up with a game plan as to how we can help them and where we can place things in there to help them through the process, help them be successful. To be honest with you,
Right.
you know. So you get to work on that deal.
Hey, I'm good with that. Let's go.
Man, good
Hey,
with that.
can I get another coffee?
No, yeah. So that's the last thing we're going to give you is
Well, if
another
there's
coffee.
training
So-
involved, we need
so-
coffee.
So the big thing is this: next week we want to make sure that we get on the route. I really want to talk product knowledge
Yeah.
about that thing. I mean, I think that's one of the things that people fail to realize. If you don't know your product, how can you sell your product?
Right.
You know, it's like anything else. If you don't believe in it, how can I believe in it? Well, if you don't know what it is, how can you get people to believe in
How
your
can you
product?
That allows you to focus on the customer. I mean, you don't have to think about.
Right. But also, how do you sell a $35,000 car if the car's not worth $35,000 to the customer?
Should be worth 70 if you're
I
selling
mean,
35.
just think about it. Why would you spend $5 on a car
Mhm.
if it's not if you don't think it's worth it?
Well,
Get out of here.
Not to go on a rant or lose
Sorry, I
my
mean,
mind
I'm
here, but the thing that drives me crazy, that really I can't for the life of me grasp the concept of it, is how salespeople don't test drive cars with customers. I mean, when I think to myself, how do you not go on a test drive?
Right.
I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy a pair of jeans without trying them on. You know, we're talking $200, $250,
Yeah.
you know, whatever the case you.
What kind of jeans
Man,
are you
where's
wearing?
he shop?
Hey, whatever,
Where does
man.
he shop?
You know what?
Lord.
Whatever, dude.
All
Y'all
right.
ain't gotta get up. Just listen to what I'm saying to you, man. You're always trying to bring up something that ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about. But the point that I'm making, is that most people won't buy clothes without trying them on.
Right.
Why do we, as in the automotive industry, think that it's okay that a customer buys a car without driving?
Right.
I mean, it drives me crazy. No, I can't understand. Can you guys tell me why is that okay? When should that be okay?
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it happens.
Maybe.
It happens
But
at
you know what?
everybody's dealership. It
It's
happens everywhere.
It's okay if you want them to come back next week and ask them, why doesn't this car do this or why does it do that? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Even from a salesperson's side, how many customers come in and say they don't want to drive the car?
You know what? Here's the deal, and it's great. I remember
They do.
being in sales, and you guys, you were here when I was in sales. I would like to think I was pretty good, but who knows? I'm sure Denny and Danny would say something different. But that's why they move into detail, right? But the thing is, I would not sell a customer a car if they didn't drive. I would look them right in the face and say, Mr. Customer, I would never in a million years
Yeah.
allow you to do that. I'm going to make sure that the vehicle that you're driving is the right vehicle
Right.
for you, that it doesn't hurt your back, and
Right.
the car sits right, and you can see the mirrors right. And if you would, just for me and for you, let's at least just driving around the lot. And I think as a
Right.
salesperson, you know, when you say that to your consumer, you let them know, dude, I care about what's going on.
That's right.
I mean, I don't just want to sell you a car because you think it's good looking. That's part of it.
Right.
But if it, dude, listen, I'm not buying a Corvette because I don't fit in it. As cool as the car looks, I'm not comfortable in it enough to where I'm going to spend $75,000, $100,000 on a car. So it makes a big deal. Oh, the boss is here. You guys got to take over.
I
Oh,
will
Danny
tell you
Wilson.
one thing really quick. You just said about what success is in one word. Care.
Yep.
Care.
That's what it's all
Yep.
about.
If you care, the rest takes care of itself.
So this is a live podcast, and I don't believe in cutting the podcast or anything. But I'm gonna take the guy with his name on the building is no, you don't gotta cut it. You guys can shut it down. You guys can close it out. The guy with his name on the building just gave me a. I don't know if this is a good or if this is don't worry about me being on the next podcast. But one of them's gonna happen. So if I'm not back next time, you guys know that was a bad tap on the glass. So you guys close it out. And like I said, product knowledge next week. That's what we're talking. We'll get into this care thing in the consumer because I think that's a good thing.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Maybe we'll ask Carl as a consumer what it is. But you guys have fun. And this is like the weirdest thing on the podcast. Get a guy walk out.
Hey.
That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You guys do what you want, man. Hey, don't
Hey,
touch anything in my office.
I guess we'll see you later.
Maybe.
Well, I just think honestly, at the end of the day, it boils down to a couple things in this business.
Yeah,
Just like
sure.
any business. I was in sales for a long time before I came to the cars. I think it boils down to caring.
Yep.
If you actually truly care about taking care of someone,
Mm-hmm.
it's the process from A to Z to find out what they want, whatever that product is for.
Yep.
If you're buying a loaf of bread at the store, if you didn't know that you had someone that was allergic to wheat, why would you give them wheat bread,
Yep.
right? And if without actually sitting down and having a conversation and caring,
Mm-hmm.
why would
You don't know how you can help.
Why would you be here?
Mhm.
It makes no sense. Do you want to sell one car? Or do you want to sell one car to the same guy every other year? Or better
Yep.
yet, sell him and every friend that he has, or her and every friend that they have for the next 20.
Yep.
Because that's the difference
And
between
even as a
caring and not
salesperson,
caring.
when you go buy something, if
Yeah.
you're gonna buy a fridge or a TV or a pool or whatever you're gonna buy, when you get treated like they care,
Right.
you know, even as a salesperson, you understand what they're doing. You're more apt to, you know, go back to that
Right.
person more often. You know, your
When
customer's
you're
just the
taken
same.
care of, no matter
You know?
where you're at, whether you're on our end
Mhm.
or whether you're the person there buying a TV or whatever it is, if you're
Yeah.
taken care of, you're going to go back and buy the next TV there.
Mhm.
Because you were taken care of. Part of it's knowledge, part of it's being easy, you know? And for me, and again, being around a long time, I want quality, no matter what I'm doing.
It's like Tron's $200 jeans. You know, I'm sure
Yeah.
he gets treated real well there.
I bet he does
Instead
too.
of, you know, the
Hey,
guy
I
at
think it's
the
appointment
Levi
only.
store
I heard
who
you-
doesn't
I think
care
it's
if you care or
appointment
not,
only.
you know?
Hey man, whatever. I heard you guys
Hey,
talking
appointment
about
only.
Doesn't care about his.
Hey, here's
his
what I say.
jeans, you know?
Say it to my face.
Hey, I will.
Hey, the truth is, so here's a good thing. I'm back. I mean, that's, I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow.
Glad
but
you sat down so I can say it to your face.
That's the only way you can say it to my face. Or you need to stand in that chair. One or the
Honestly,
other.
what we were just talking about is talking about caring and then talking about customer service, because it doesn't matter if you're buying a TV, if you're going to the grocery store, if you're going out to eat, whatever it might be. When people care about what they're doing to you, you tend to go back
Look, here. let me-
or spend more money.
or spend more money.
Let me tell you a great story. Hopefully, every salesperson, every sales manager, you pay attention to the story. So, you guys know what I've been going through. I built a new house. I'm having a tough time getting refrigerator upstairs. A beverage center, anything, just anything right now. You can't get it. So, one of the salespersons here, he tells me, he says, "Hey man, I'm at this." I won't say the name. I'm at this certain place. We're not the life promoting this. I'm at this certain place, and I think you should go out there. They got a couple beverage centers that may interest you. So I go out there. I'm in the store. I'm looking around, and I get this young man that comes over, and he goes, "First question to me, right? Our second question. His first question is, what can I help you with?" I said, "Well, I'm looking for a beverage center. I see you got a few of them here." The first question he asked me was, "Great, sir. What will you use it for?" And right there, I stopped and I was like, "Dude, perfect. I like this guy already."
Yep.
He was like, "And the reason why I'm asking you is because some people use it for wine and you want it to do this. Some people use it for beer. You want it to do this. Some people use it for both, and you need it to do this. And that's why I'm asking you, because I want to make sure whatever I sell you, I sell you what you need.
Yep.
And I said, well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to put beer in it. Look at me, right? I mean, we're gonna put beer in it, probably refreshments. And something I never knew, and this is when it comes to being a professional salesperson. He says, you should buy this one. He says, this one's nice. He said, but you should buy this one because what happens is it has openings in the glass and it allows the temperature to be the same at the top and at the bottom. Right? I never thought about that. I don't sell refrigerators, so I would have never known that.
Right.
But his question to me was, what are you going to use it for? How can I help you? And I want to make sure that I help you. So I was like, dude, that makes sense for me. I said, Psh, I'll take that one.
I did the same thing buying a TV. I went in, I knew what I wanted. I had done some research. I went in, I told the guy who asked me the same question. I kind of told him what I was looking for, where I was going to use it. And he's like, you don't need all that in a TV if this is the only time you're going to use it. If you're not using it for gaming or watching, movies, and I just want to watch a football game on Saturday, or I don't need to spend $2,000 on TV when I can spend $800. So that built trust with me with that guy because he had my best interest in mind, not only from a product standpoint, but he knew, he might make some commission on that, but he sold me an $800 one instead of a $2,000 one. Well, because he cared about what I was using it for, how I was gonna,
And there's that word again.
And I will go back.
Yeah, and so here's a cool thing. He just cut me off, man. So I'm sure people do. They cut you short. Well, I'm with you. That is what I'm saying. But here's the cool thing. So he goes, "This is the one you should buy." I said, "Great, I'll take that one." Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at him, and I'm like, now keep in mind, I made that commitment without asking one thing.
Price.
Never asked him what it cost.
Yeah.
It didn't matter at that point because I knew he had my best interest. Now, here's the crazy thing. The one that I wanted was more expensive than the one that I bought. It wasn't about, and this is how I know he's a good salesperson, it wasn't about him selling the best one. It was about him making sure that I will never buy an appliance from anywhere else if I can buy it from that guy from that store. And he was a young guy. And to make the story better, he told me it was available. He said, "Hey, it's in my warehouse, so you'll have it on Tuesday." I said, "Great, man. I think that's awesome. It's Sunday or whatever." It's like, that's cool. I can live one day. I go home. The store closes at 9 o'clock. I'm going to remember the store closes at 9 o'clock. He calls me at 8:55. He goes, "Mr. Smith?" I say, "Yeah, this is me. What's up?" He goes, "This is such and such from such and such." Right? See how I played that? He goes, "Hey, I wanted to call you myself because I kind of made a mistake. I thought that was in my warehouse here, but it's my warehouse in Minnesota. So you won't get it on Tuesday. It's probably going to be more like Thursday." And he goes, "I'm going to apologize to you, and I wanted to call you myself. I didn't want anybody else to call you." He goes, "I can't offer you a discount, so I will tell you if that doesn't work for you, I would definitely refund your money. But I wanted to be the one to tell you. I didn't want anybody else to tell you, so I apologize for the miscommunication. But that's where it's at. So you tell me how I should proceed." And I was like, "Hey man, no worries, bro. I appreciate you calling me. But it's the customer service and it's the caring.
Yeah.
I didn't care what the price was. I didn't care when I was going to get it. I just know that he cared about what I was doing. And that's just, always keep that story. And that's what I tell the salespeople. Always remember that. It's funny. It's not about the money. And I know our mindsets, we're so perceived that, oh man, a customer will only buy it if it fits their budget. Okay, their budget is one thing, but if you show them the value in the product, right, and you show that you care, not about you, right? It's about them.
Right.
What are you going to use it for? Did I get everything you need? And there's value in what you're buying. Dude, the price don't matter. Dude, price don't matter.
Yeah, no.
Okay? It's all about that. So just keep in mind, we'll dive into that. It's all about caring, and that's something that Wilson's comes from the top. I'll tell you a great story about Danny Wilson when I first started. Remind me next time. I'll share that with you because it's a really good story and it kind of changed who I was as a salesperson going forward. Look at that teaser. Tune into the next one.
Such a promoter.
Dude, I'm telling you, I need a raise. Sell more cars, but that's good. That's how that works. But it'll be a good thing. We'll get into that. But just think about it, man. I'm glad we kind of got on the topic about taking care of the customer because that's the bottom line. And our salespeople do a great job of doing that. They don't do anything. And I think if you ask a lot of our customers, you'll say that now. Is it 100%? Will you get that guy out there that says Wilson Toyota doesn't do a good job? Probably, because there's always that one.
Right.
But there's not many. And I think, I'm going to say I pride myself in taking care of customers. And I know Danny does and all the sales staff does too. So we'll get into the care of it and all that. And, you know, I'm just glad that you guys come and party with me one more time. I mean, I've been telling you,
Hey.
we've got to be like 4
You know,
days late on this
If
thing.
you ever wants to do it on a Saturday, I'm out. Football's on in a week.
That's you know how you're talking about being successful.
Hey,
Come to
football.
work. Hey, dude, come to work to watch football, man.
Hey, no,
Only on Saturday.
I,
What do you always say in meetings on Saturday morning? It's game day, right? It's
Yeah.
game day on the sales floor, and now it's game day.
It's game day every day for me. I mean, you show up a Saturday is one of those deals, and we let you guys watch football as long as
Yeah.
the customer gets 10. Hey, when the customer doesn't get 10 too, but you watching football,
Yeah.
the only person that ain't happy is the customer. That don't work for
TV
me.
goes
so,
Yeah.
so it's one of those things we'll get into. Hopefully, we give
Yeah.
some information to the people that's helping.
Absolutely.
But smart pad, smart price, smart. Listen, the crazy thing, and I just want to share that Toyota's not paying us to we pay them for smart pad. But the reason why I wanted to do this podcast is because I want every every Toyota dealership that gets the opportunity to have smart pad, I want them to get a real look at what it is.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's all dandy and it's always going to work, but I want to give them a real light into what it is, and that'll help every dealer going forward.
Right.
Because if we take care of our consumers as a group, as a Toyota group,
Right.
I'm telling you, we're all going to be better for it. So smart path, get on. Hey, listen,
I agree.
it's like not jumping on Alabama before saving. Once the train gets rolling, you can't jump on.
oh my
Whatever,
God.
man. Whatever, yo, whatever. You get out of my office, you
Back
don't
on
like
the
what I
Bama
say.
train.
Hey, I'm not on the Bama train. Hey, I'm not on the Bama train. I'm not on any train. I'm on Iowa State. Well, let me say that. I'm sorry. Woo! Nebraska, Iowa State. I got to say that first because I don't want people to be saying, well, you can say Iowa State. It doesn't matter who you say first. Nebraska, Iowa State, Nebraska. That's where I'm at. And wherever my son gets to play.
I'll give you that one. That's fair. That's fair enough.
And I just want to say this, y'all just know, go Jags, baby. That's where we at. I'll do what y'all want to do with it.
He did it. He's talking about Jacksonville.
No, they're not good, man. They don't have as good a quarterback as the other Jags.
yeah.
They got two great quarterbacks. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that stuff.
Whatever. I got you.
Get out of here. But hey, man, until we meet again, my friends, and just remember, for the next week and a half, until you get to hear us again, let's just be honest.
Let's be honest.